Hi, welcome to the Sound Solutions R&B Intern Takeover. My name's Renee.
And I'm Becky.
I want to give a huge shout out to Jason Danley for donating his time and creating that beautiful slap bass intro and outro. Stay tuned. He works here for Resounding Joy, and he's one of the point people for the Semper Sound Band, which is a band for active military members and veterans.
Huge shout out to him. We all know that just like a little bit of music can be a little ear candy. So, ear candy for your morning.
And now we're doing episode 2. Yay!
Thank you so much to everybody who listened to our first full episode. We got amazing feedback on it, and we really appreciate everybody tuning in, especially because it was a longer episode.
Sorry.
Than we thought it was going to be. We promise this one will be short and sweet.
That being said, please remember to interact with us and submit your client/patient interactions and go-to resources to interns@musicworksinc.com. That email will be in the description and all over social media. So please, please, please send us a beautiful email of information.
We're looking forward to it. We got our first email and we both screamed.
Yeah.
It was a little dramatic, but at the same time, we get very excited. So you are making 2 tired interns so happy every time you send us an email. Just think of the joy that you're spreading.
The butterfly effect.
The butterfly effect.
You should have saw my fingers. Anyways, I was making butterflies.
Today, we are going to be talking about internship. More so how to find them, how to choose them, and then how to get them. Because that is the process, and as a student, it is overwhelming. At least it was for me and everybody else that I know. And if the multiple messages I get a day from the students at Berkeley mean anything, it's still overwhelming as you try and figure out what's going on. So we thought we would give y'all an action plan, answer some questions, and just give you some tips and tricks that we have used and that we found really helpful when we were applying to internship. We know we have a lot of listeners that are way past their internship portion of their career. We're fully aware of that. But what we would like you all to do is to continue listening to the podcast and then put in your own tips and tricks. So if you run an internship, if you work at a site that has an internship and you're involved in anything, your own experience, anything like that, put some helpful comments so that they are successful in finding their internships. Within that, if you think we're wrong, if you're like, no, that is not helpful, let us know.
Put it in the comments. Let's make the discussion.
Yeah.
We want to bridge this gap between students and professionals, and this is one way to do it. So yeah, comment below. Get that discussion, and if we're wrong, comment below. The first question that was asked was, when should you start looking for internships?
The answer is now. Like right now. It doesn't matter where you are in your program. Literally start researching this exact moment while you're listening to this podcast, because you want as much time to find as many options as possible. And if you wait to sit down and find them all, it's going to be overwhelming, because then your application process and your research process combine into one, and that's too much. Too much.
Mm-hmm. The application process can be long, so you just got to start preparing for that and looking ahead on what you need to prepare. You also should start looking ahead on finances. Most internships are unpaid, so get a job in the summer, start saving, spend a little less on coffee. That was my problem.
A little budgeting. Also, within that, you should actually start applying and starting the physical process about a year to a year and a half before you anticipate starting internship. This seems like a long time, but there are specific internships that you have to apply a year out. Mm-hmm. So making sure that you know when those deadlines are and that you're giving yourself enough time to apply for the internship without pulling out your hair and getting super stressed out.
So around junior year, if you want to start right away.
Yes.
Is what I recommend.
So, all right, you're looking at internships, you're compiling a list, like what is the first step? And it's really just finding what's out there. So like search for internships. You can go on the AMTA website and look at all of the national affiliated sites. You can look through your school and talk to your internship coordinator if you have one. See, what internships other students at your school have done, or what are common internships, or what they think might be a good placement for you based on your skills and your interests.
Yeah, supervisors usually have a good idea on what would be good for you. For me, I didn't have an internship coordinator, and one of my site supervisors was like, hey, you should apply to this, and gave me a packet. And she printed it out for me, and she's like, just do it. And I did it, and now I'm here.
Simple as that.
It was simple as that. But I did look and try to find internships through AMTA, but you can also Google them. Google music therapy internships, put quotations in there so you don't just get random music and then therapy. Do good searching techniques to find them, and you can see stuff that pops up that, because sometimes AMTA is not updated, so making sure that you get all areas there. And then lastly, you can also look by population or in your area.
Or wherever you want to live.
So for population, meaning if you want to work in a children's hospital, or if you want to work with strictly geriatrics or hospice, or a well-rounded approach. And then for local, some people can't move far or they don't want to move far. Just finding something that balances that out.
And then within that, you can narrow the pool even more. So you have all these internships that might be, appealing to you. They may look good and you're like, yeah, like I can maybe do this. This sounds about like what I want to do. How do you narrow that down? Like Renee said, you can narrow it down by location. You can narrow it down by population you want to work with. You can narrow it down by your financial situation. So do you need to live at home? Do you need to live somewhere else? Is this internship offering a stipend? Is it not? Are there benefits financially that will help you be successful within this internship financially? You can also look at hours. So in some internships are 9 months, some are 6 months, some you work 4 days a week, some you work 6 days a week. It really depends on how they have it laid out and what kind of internship it is, if it's in a medical setting, if it's a private practice, etc. So looking at those hours that you'd be expected to work, and then finding if, like, do I need a job outside of this and can I feasibly do that? For mine and Renee's internship, you can't work outside of it. So that was something that we financially had to work on before we got to internship. And then the last two ways I think are the most important for narrowing down your choices are the people that you're going to be working with, supervisors, networking, and then the last one is the philosophies and viewpoints of the music therapy company or of your supervisor, because that's what you're going to be learning. You're going to be learning from a specific person or specific people, and they're going to have their own philosophies and viewpoints. And you want to make sure that you're not landing in a situation that is completely polar from you if that is not your goal originally.
You can find most of this information either on the internship website. They should have it laid out, but if they do not, you can always send an email. There's usually an email to contact them with a list of questions that you have to answer. That's one way to go about finding that information. The next question is, how do I know if it's a good fit? And going back to narrowing down the pool, you have to go back to see if that supervision style is something that you'll learn from, or if it'll be challenging. Are you more hands-on, or do you like more reading? Secondly, the methods or philosophies compared to what you have learned. Do you want to grow in those philosophies that you've already learned, or do you want to learn a new style?
A really good example of that would be if you come from a holistic or music-based school. I did. That is what Berkeley is. And then you apply to an internship that's NMT-based or more behavioral-based. Those are two extremely different philosophies and methods. So when you're looking at that, is that going to be hard for you in a bad way, switching to that? Do you not believe in NMT techniques or behavioral techniques? Does that go against your own personal beliefs about music therapy and your own philosophy? Or is that something you want to learn more about and will be a good thing? Either way, you have to understand those shifts that you're going to have to take when you're in that situation. Personally, I think it's really good to learn new methods and techniques, but you also have to make sure that those fundamental values are close enough to yours that you can fit into this internship in this company or whatever team that you're on.
And then another way to know how it's a good fit is the hours in the area. Again, hours meaning, like, are you able to support yourself with the amount of hours that they're making you work, or do you need another job outside of that? And then that goes with the area. Is it somewhere where you need to find a place to pay for rent and food and all that stuff, or do you have family members where rent can be a little cheaper, or you can live for free.
And then on the family members front, do you have support? Internship can be very intense. So having family around for some people is really important, or friends, or being already socially established in a place where other people might want to pick up and leave and start completely new. So thinking about those things as you apply.
The next question that we have is, what are the important things to prepare and focus on?
So we're finally at the application process. So within all of this, how it's going to look is you're going to be finding spots, you're going to be weeding them down, you're going to be trying to figure out. AMTA has a policy where you can only apply to 4 internships at once. So you have to wait until you either accept or reject, or you are rejected or accepted, before you can apply to more. So you need to narrow it down to those 4. And then you're at the point where you're actually applying. There are so many different kinds of applications and so many different things that they can be looking for and that the internship might ask you to do or prepare or write up. Some applications might take you, 30 minutes, an hour? Some applications might take you a couple of weeks to put together. I know the MusicWorks application took me several weeks to put together, but I also know of friends who did my program who literally applied to like 3 internships in a day. That being said, there's a lot of crossover sometimes. So if you fill out one application, you can take those answers and copy and paste them into another application if that's appropriate. But yeah, this is where we start applying.
When filling out the information for the applications and making your resume, really look into the place that you're working at. Look at their websites. Look at their mission statements. Look at populations that they work with or their vision boards and things like that, so you can tailor your answers to stuff they look for. Also, that helps prepare you when you're researching that for interviews. So if you get an interview, you can have informed questions, you can have informed statements, and the person who is interviewing you will be like, oh yeah, they looked at my stuff, they know what they're talking about, they're prepared, they're ready to go, and that automatically puts you higher than somebody who just sits there and is like,
just sings.
Just I don't know what to ask. Like,
well, yeah, and that's the other thing is, I think because we're in like an academic world so long leading up to this, we forget that this is basically a job interview. So if you've ever applied for jobs or gone through this process on a professional level, it's the same thing. They are looking to see if you are a good fit in their team. They're looking to see how informed you are about what you're going to do. They're looking to see if you have the specific personality traits and values that match up with them. So looking at these internships, mission statements and philosophies, and reading into your supervisors and seeing, what research have they conducted, if any, and what articles have been written about them, or where have they shown up? Where do they dedicate their time? What are the programs that they've started? What is important to them, and being able to ask informed questions based off of that, as well as seeing yourself in that situation. So those things, you can ask more informed questions that will help you decide if this is a good fit for you and if they work with what your ideals are.
Yeah, a lot of supervisors are in a bunch of different roles within the system. So like, for example, one of my supervisors writes blogs and does podcasts. So like researching and listening to that, I can get a feel for the company and what they strive for just by diving a little bit deeper into the website and really spending that time researching and understanding how the company operates.
Within that, all of this, you are going to have to create a resume and you're going to have to do some professional writing. So make sure that you have people looking over your resume. I cannot emphasize this enough. You need a professional resume. And you need somebody who is used to looking at resumes, looking yours over. It can be very easy to overload a resume because there's so much that we do within music and, clinical situations prior to coming on to internship. And it can just be so much information that you're trying to crowd onto one page. So having somebody else, even if they're not a music therapist, look it over and be like, okay, these are the things that I'm seeing. These are the things that are popping out. That's really important. And then also having somebody proof your professional writing for that application, the written application, if there is one, to make sure, there are no typos, everything looks professional, and you're actually getting to the root of the question. Because I remember it quite well in the middle of a semester. Things kind of cloud together. You're trying to check things off a list. So just making sure that somebody is double checking what you're doing.
Some applications ask for videos, so being prepared by practicing, but also be authentic in the videos. I did a lot of intervention-based takes of the statements that I had to fill in the videos, where I think you did something different.
Yeah, so that's the other thing, being creative, like
Yeah.
being genuine and creative. We both had to show
An array of things.
an
on a
array of
video.
things. The one that's like stands out the most for me though was we had to show 1-4-5 chords and
Transpose them.
yeah, well, we didn't have to transpose. It was just multiple keys that we had to show them in. And like
Oh.
I interpreted that differently, and I did a song that I modulated 5 or 6 times to show that I had all of those well.
I did a children's song with actions, and each time I modulated, I got faster and faster, so I made it more of an intervention-based, so functional modulation and getting the chords in a functional way.
I also know another person who had to do the same thing for a different internship, and how she did it was she did different grooves and styles and genres for every chord progression that she did. So she just played every like 1-4-5 in a different genre and a different key, and that's how she like laid it up, which all of these 3 different things show other competencies as well outside of just those chords, which is what you're going for, because you want to pack as much of your strengths into those videos as you can.
So give yourself time to practice and really get those videos solid. Try to take it in one take so then there's not splices or weird moments in the video. I took different takes of each thing they requested and combined them together, but like when I was doing the actual demonstration, it was always just the one solid take. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I need to stress that out. It doesn't have to be perfect because they know you need to grow. They know that you're starting from school and you're coming to internship. I got so hung up on perfectionism that I recorded the same thing 80 different times. And then recently, actually, I looked back at my internship videos and I realized they were barely any different.
Within that too, highlight your strengths.
Yeah.
You have strengths. I promise you, you have strengths. Do not show them the things that you're obviously growing all around, but do not show them the areas where you're like, I should be able to do this, quote unquote. Like, I should be able to do this thing or play this bar chord that I like legitimately can't play. Don't take 5 days to record a video of you trying to get a perfect take of you playing a bar chord when you can't play a bar chord. Instead, focus on your strengths. Are you really good interacting with other people? Great. Do some group demonstrations. Are you really musical on the piano over the guitar? Great. Highlight your piano skills. Highlight those things, or your primary instrument. Highlight those things that set you apart and that you're really strong in. Internships know that you need to grow. Show them where you're already really strong and what you're bringing to their team.
And just tailor the videos to what the packet says that they give you.
Yeah.
So, in the videos, show your strengths, but also be professional in the videos as well. Even if you're doing some role playing, be professional as possible, dress professional.
And all your correspondence with the internship, you're trying to win them over. Every single email that you send, every single phone call that you make is professional. So addressing people by, doctor or Ms. or Mr., depending on whatever's happening, making sure that you're informed about their position, making sure that you're using professional language when you do that. And then within that, like if you set up a time commitment, making sure that you're punctual to that time commitment, that you're showing up when you're supposed to, that you're meeting deadlines. These are all things that seem small, but will set you apart in the grander scheme because they show that you're dependable and that you're already working towards those competencies of professionalism and will represent their company or their internship or their program well.
And lastly, just remember in the interview process, you are also interviewing them. You need to know if it's going to be a good fit for you. So get those questions prepared and ask questions tailored to your needs. This way you can find out if it's a good fit. Because even if they offer you a job from the interview and you're not comfortable with it because they didn't pass your interview, you can say no and keep looking.
Yeah, so you can refuse an internship that accepts you. You have the power. You got it, okay? If you don't like the way the conversation went, if you feel like it's not a good fit for you, if you feel like that internship is not going to fit your needs or address the areas of growth that you want to address, if you don't feel like you connect well with the supervisor or they do not have a supervision style that suits your needs, definitely ask questions about that. See if there's a way to like solve that problem if everything else clicks. But if it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. And you can say, no, thank you. I'm not accepting this internship. Just some overall tips and tricks. Make contact with them prior to applying. So whether that be an email saying, hi, my name is so-and-so. I'm interested in your internship. Can you tell me more about it? Or asking specific questions. Or going to the site and shadowing for a day. Or, having a meeting with the director. Or setting something up. Make contact. So your name is familiar when that application comes through. That's a huge one. Also, ask other people that you may know or know through someone else who have completed the internship. That is an amazing way to get a lot of accurate information because somebody's already completed what you would be doing. So if somebody else at your school has completed this internship, if, they have an alum page for their interns, even asking that person that you contact if there's any alum interns that you could talk to, as long as you're asking that in a professional way, that's also acceptable. And then getting some information from them. They can tell you a lot more of the intern side of things and help you get a better idea of what you would be doing specifically and how that all looks.
So overall, good luck and happy hunting.
Happy hunting. It's gonna be good, y'all. Don't worry.
And now, resource
corner. Yeah, we're nerds. We know. It's okay. So for our resource today,
we got 2 of them.
Yeah.
And they're pretty fantabulous. The first one is a notation website. We're doing websites today. The first one is a notation website called NoteFlight, and there it's really easy to use. You can sign up for free and notate any instrument. You can get a full score or simple lead tracks. You can also record on that website the different instruments and sounds and make an MP3 file and upload it to things. It's really cool. Highly recommend you check it out.
Link will be in the description.
Yeah. Really fun and easy. The next one
is from a listener.
Yeah!
So shout out to Audrey.
Audrey Weatherstone, my love! Okay,
we know her, in case you felt that was awkward. She sent us an amazing resource that is for boomwhacker notation.
Or any kind of colored notation, to be honest. It's called Chrome Music Lab, and you can Google that. The link will also be below. And on Chrome Music Lab, there's like several little blocks for different types of things for music stuff. That was really
super descriptive.
Super descriptive. So it's really fun to use for patients or clients. You can build a song and have them guess what the song is without the rhythm notation. They can try to figure it out. There's also a rhythm maker where some monkeys play some stuff. You can add like circles and triangles.
So it's something that you can both use interactively with your clients, or you can use it when you're session planning to create some visuals. Oh, it's the robot!
Yeah! So there's a little robot, and you click them, and like you can move the mouse around, and it'll change the frequency. And then there's different robots that you can play with and make them move. So it's really great for directionals, like going up, make it higher, and it's just goofy and fun. There's piano rolls, harmonics, arpeggio makers. What is this?
There's lots of cool stuff on it, y'all. Check it out.
Oh my gosh! You can draw. It's called Kandinsky, and you can draw.
It makes noise.
Yeah. So you just draw like on the thing. Oh, I'm gonna give him eyeballs. Okay, this is really cool. And then you can hit play.
Ooh.
And it just made a song off of characters that I just drew on the computer. So it's great for storytelling, and now you can write a song about Bob going to the store or something. This is great.
Thank you so much, Audrey. This is amazing. So definitely check both of those resources out. The links will be in the description below. And yeah, let us know if you like them. And maybe this will spark some of your own resources that you want to submit to us.
Ooh, plug.
Ooh. All right.
Kill 'em.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. We hope that the internship information was helpful. Please continue the conversation below if you are past internship or you have anything to do with internship across the board. Please give some tips and tricks to the students listening here. And then also let us know what you think about our content. This is what worked for us. Maybe you have different views on what works and what you look for.
All right. R&B out.